Hey guys, it's Layla from Ignite, and in today's video I'm going to go through some theory behind intertextuality and how it relates to the Module A study of textual conversations. But before I get into today's content, please do like and subscribe to our channel and click the bell for notifications. And if you're looking for resources to help you get your way through your HSC, check out our website at Ignite HSC. But for now, let's get into today's video. So what I'd like to do in today's clip is I'm actually just going to show you an extract from quite a well-known essay by Stam on the dialogics of adaptation. And I'm using that for those students out there who are thirsty for some extra theory to help you understand the rationale behind what you're really studying in textual conversations. Now, for anyone taking on the textual conversations module, so that's for all of you who are doing advanced English, this theory kind of gets to the heart of what this module is asking students to discuss, which is really the question, had I not studied these two texts in the pair of texts comparatively, would I come to the same appreciation that I now do have of these two texts? And of course the answer is no, right? Whether you're looking at Tempest and Hagseed or The Hours and Mrs. Dalloway or King Richard and Looking for Richard, and the list goes on, what you find is that after you've looked at the primary text and you've studied that and you have an understanding of the ideas in that text and you then go on and compare it to another text, suddenly all of these new ideas and perhaps your conception of the text becomes challenged or enhanced in some way. And that is the beauty of textual conversations, where we have the ability of text to inform the meaning that is contained in another text. Now, this notion of textual dialogue is underpinned by theories of intertextuality. And these theories came about in the kind of context of literary theory in the 60s. And there was one profound essay, and I have another video on this, but this video is a little bit more condensed today. It was founded by this guy called Roland Barthes in his very famous essay, The Death of the Author, wherein he talks about no texts being purely original and texts drawing from and reappropriating the meanings that are contained in other texts. And I'm going to work you through a more contemporary essay that frames these ideas so perfectly and introduces some actual terminology that you could use and embed within your essays. But I guess what I wanted to frame as a starting point is, what is textual dialogue and from where do these ideas arise? And like I've said, they come from this notion of intertextuality. So if you're a student and you're kind of stuck questioning, what am I actually proving in my Module A essay? What am I seeking to unpack or define? It's precisely that, right? Unlike the common module or Module B, you're not writing an essay that purely explores ideas that are contained in a text. You don't have a theme per paragraph and you're divulging the text in depth. You're rather trying to showcase that through bringing these texts together, you have been drawn to meanings that you would have not otherwise appreciated in these texts. So language such as, whilst this composer explores this composer challenges this representation, extending on it in this particular way. And that's the negotiation of meaning that we're talking about in the module. So I'm going to read an extract from Stam's essay. It's actually a chapter from a book called The Dialogics of Adaptation, and I've got a source reference if you'd like to look it up. And through that, I'm going to draw some connections to the module more broadly. And like I said, it's just a quick little clip to enhance your understanding of theory behind textual conversations. And you are also welcome to use the terminology that Stam draws upon in the essay, and you can embed that in your own work. So here's the extract. Hypertextuality refers to the relation between one text, which Jeanette calls hypertext, to an anterior text or hypotext, which the former transforms, modifies, elaborates, or extends. Filmic adaptations, in this sense, are hypertexts derived from pre-existing hypotexts that have been transformed by operations of selection, amplification, concretization, and actualization. So What Stam is drawing on here in this part of his essay, he goes through all different types of intertextuality, paratextuality, metatextuality, and now he comes to hypertextuality. And I just think this paragraph so perfectly frames exactly the relationships that you guys are drawing on in your Module A studies, right? So hypertextuality, referring to the relation between one text. Jeanette is a theorist on intertextuality who was writing around the same time as Roland Barthes, who I mentioned earlier, calls the hypertext to an anterior text or hypotext, or that should say, or hypotext, which the former transforms, modifies, elaborates, or extends. So this highlighted part here is referring to the hypertext, the later text in the pair that you're studying, which has the power to transform, modify, elaborate, or extend what you've taken away in your previous text. So, by way of example, if we're looking at Keats' Campion, Campion's text is the hypertext. Tempest Hagseed. Hagseed is the hypertext. These texts were written with the intention of adding something to the original text, right? Transforming them or modifying them in the same way. And your original text, The Tempest, Keats, King Richard's, these texts are the hypotext, the original text, the Mrs. Dalloway's, for example. So what this is speaking to is exactly what happens, right, in textual conversations. You'll note that in the rubric at the end of the very first paragraph, they use the phrase and how meaning is shaped or shapes meaning. And it's opening to your eyes this idea that when you look at a text, there is no fixed underlying singular way of understanding what's happening in a text. Meaning in a text is in a constant flux of negotiation. It's being reappropriated and redrawn by virtue of its relationality to other texts within a pair. So because of that, you want to explore in your essay how through an intertextual study, through the textual dialogue between Daldry and Dalloway, Daldry and Woolf, or between Shakespeare and Atwood, you're showcasing how meaning is being negotiated. It's a hyperbolic example of that negotiation, because the latter text, as is framed over here, the filmic adaptation or any later adaptation, can actually draw on the earlier text through the selection, amplification, and concretization to bring to light new ways of understanding the text. So I'm hoping that this little extract here has showcased for you the theory that is kind of hidden within your rubric and enunciated what you're trying to do through that intertextual study as you're navigating your way through whichever text you are studying. So to reiterate, what I'm hoping you've taken away in the clip is to understand the complex relationship between texts, right? All texts, according to intertextuality, are caught within this web of intertextual connection, right? Whether the author intends or not, they may be borrowing from or reappropriating meanings that exist in other texts. But in your specific example of the pair of texts you're studying, we have texts that were written with the intention of extending the meaning of that earlier text. And by a reciprocal kind of relationship, that earlier text also informs what you take away from the later one. You don't really appreciate fully what goes on in Hagseed unless you've read The Tempest. And the same can be said by Keats' Campion, Dalloway Hours, every other text that you look at. Furthermore, I'm hoping that you can actually embed the terminology of hypertext and hypotext if you want to enhance the sophistication of your response, and you can label your text as such. In one of my other clips, when I'm giving you an exemplar thesis statement to the 2020 Paper 2 Mod A, I use the terminology within my thesis. So when that clip is, when it comes out, you can have a look at how I've embedded it there. But that kind of concludes my little taste of theory for today's content. And if you do like the extract from Stam, I encourage you, particularly if you are an Extension 1 or Extension 2 student, to go forth and have a read of the essay. It very nicely traces the nature of intertextuality in a way that relates not only to your Module A studies, but also those of you who are doing any comparative work in your Extension 2 or in your Extension 1 courses. But guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments, please do place them below and I will do my best to get back to you. If you are enjoying our content, please do also like and subscribe to our channel and click the bell for notifications. And if you're wanting more content to enhance your studies in the year ahead, check out our website at Ignite HSC. We have loads of resources on there with notes on context, form, close analysis, and exemplar essays. And I guarantee you will find them of immense use to your studies. But thank you again, guys, for watching, and I really hope to see you in our next video.